Oh, you cute.
Faye,
Hey, girl, I'm at
what
work,
is
but
you
you cute.
doing? Why is you talking to me at work? I just texted you.
I
You can
just
see
text you
me?
back too. Yeah, I can see you. You cute.
You can see me? Hold on, wait, look. Did you just fall up?
Snakewood Net Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
This my thing right here. If you just texted and not text, but texted her, she at work, you surprised that she's talking to you on the camera, the ring camera, and you over there looking so cute. If I didn't cut it, it was longer than that. The person opening the door is old girl dude that's at work. What the f was you popping up at my house midday, trying to look cute, surprised that I'm talking to you on my ring camera and you just texted me thinking I'm at work. Y'all sleep, don't sleep, don't slip. Hey man, I'm such a black muff. I used to be scrolling. I guess it was around COVID time I became aware of the Hodge twins. And I used to try to watch them because they bleedneck, even though they was MAGA Republican. And I tried to give them a fair shake and understand the perspective of another black person. But they lost me so many times. I would get offended just trying to listen to their rhetoric. And now I realize, hey, it was a whole community of us being irritated with people like them and Officer Tatum. O'Shea Duke Jackson, shit, they took a L, and I'm here for it. So with no further ado, let's see what they say the Hodge twins have been up to.
You know, they're two brothers, I believe Kevin and Keith, and they've been now right-winging it up, anti-Israel for about the last 5 or 6 years, at least on their channel. And they have a podcast in which they invite people. I believe they're in Las Vegas. And so when they invite people to their podcast, typically people will pull up. Now, what's important to know here is when you come to their podcast, you are paying your own way. All right. And this is exactly what happened with the amazing Lucas.
And they hit me up. I'm like, yo, what are we talking about? He's like, okay, we're going to be talking about this. Let's get a date. I'm like, bet, right? I'm in LA, they in Vegas. So I spend time, I spend money to come to this podcast. There's me, the Hodge twins, this other black guy, another black guy, and then this Arab, right? The Palestinian. And we're going back and forth. And eventually it's looking bad for them.
The amazing Lucas is an excellent YouTuber. Understand when I say excellent, he's like top notch. He was invited to go to this interview. And like he said, he noticed that it was them. It was some black people around, and then there was a Palestinian guy. I don't know if the Palestinian guy was working some level of sound or production, but he was there. And the amazing Lucas is a very smart guy. Like, he's very witty. I've heard him debate people live before. He'd be pretty tough for, the average person to debate, especially somebody like the Hodge twins.
Got him!
Who are really not that bright or creative or can really respond well intellectually to somebody on the same level as him. So, and this is,
I'm about to inform that the Hodge twins, they are not on that debate level to be debating against the more informed amongst us. Not at all. They have a comedic quality to them that is somewhat, I guess, entertaining. Outside of that, they don't seem to be experts in much of anything.
This is the reason why he says he was getting the better of the both of them at the same time, which it makes sense because, frankly, the Hodge twins are not very smart guys. They're just not. They don't articulate very well. They don't think they're.
They seem like they even market themselves as kind of like, they're kind of doof. Not just straight ignorant, illiterate, but they are kind of goof. Like, duh.
Ideas through, and they're just kind of like the black version of Jake Shields. But anyways, as the arguments are going, and the amazing Lucas was saying, hey, they had their facts off, they didn't know per capita, all these different things. The amazing Lucas comes to a certain point where he's winning the debate so much that this Palestinian guy starts to jump in because the Hodge twins literally have no defense and they're kind of on the rope. And then this happened.
But the first time he was like, oh, we're all N-words, right? To the Jews. And I heard that. I'm like, what the F did you say, right? I get it. I'm not allowing someone to just say the hard R, right, in my presence. Now, no one else responded to it. The two black men that were sitting down didn't respond to it. The twins didn't respond to it. I'm the only one. So I'm in a room full of soldiers, bro. And they had this Palestinian. He talks about how he fled Palestine because of what was going on, and now he's with his family. But he said to the Jews, we're all N-word. I'm like, you don't say that, right? I don't want to hear that word come out of your mouth, right?
So the N-word is thrown around, okay? So
again, when you start telling somebody what can and cannot come out their mouth, you got to be basically putting some type of physical consequence behind that demand, or you just woofing. So you got to be careful when you go there.
The Amazing Luke is just like, wait, hold on, man. You can't use that word. Now, this Palestinian guy, his point of view is, oh no. What I meant to say is the Jews look at all of us like that, not just me. So that was his cover the first time. But in response to that, the Amazing Lucas was trying to say, or he was saying, you shouldn't be using that word at all. You're Palestinian. That word does not belong in your mouth. And
you call them saying, you feel me?
A certain point, there was almost a physical altercation. You know, the Amazing Lucas was warning him, like, listen, bro, if you keep using it, it will be a physical altercation. And then, you know, according to the Hodge twins, well, no, it won't be a physical altercation. You're not going to be able to do nothing. And so it becomes a tense moment where, you know, the Amazing Lucas, even though he's defeating them in the debate, he's not really trying to fight them, but they have this disrespectful guy that is there that basically, you know, is saying the N-word and being very disrespectful towards black people. And what is shocking to him is that the Hodge twins are just sitting back.
How are you shocked, Lucas? You didn't do your research on these goofies? Man, salute to you for trying to stand on business, but man, you didn't know you was the only black guy in the room. That's shame on you for not being aware, man. You sharper than that.
Idly by letting him do it. Then the Amazing Lucas, he reiterated about the low intellectual level of the Hodge twins. Things about they didn't know per capita. They could not enunciate words. And he talked about that clearly.
Because they were asking, well, what do you think is the difference between us and you, right? Because they were trying, I think it was Kevin, he was trying to pronounce differentiation and he couldn't pronounce it. He was like, what's the differentiation? I was like, well, one is that I can pronounce differentiation.
Yeah, that was what's the difference? That was pretty funny there. And I don't think that he's lying about this at all. Because if you've ever heard the Hodge twins, like they really have a hard time enunciating words. They really have a hard time putting like ideas together. There's an intellectual gap between the both of them. There again, I'm not trying to be mean, but these guys are just not smart at all. You know, they can make money online. They can probably, you know, regurgitate the same things. But the Hodge twins need to have a podcast in which the opposite person is an echo chamber. They are not going to do well with anybody who has fresh ideas, anybody that they have to push back on in real time. They're going to struggle. And they probably were struggling with somebody as bright as the Amazing Lucas. And they probably were struggling. All right. So because the podcast goes back on track and, you know, the Hodge twins are having a hard time containing.
That's why they didn't bring him there to just podcast with them alone. They brought this other dude because they knew they couldn't put them together, the deuce of them.
The Amazing Lucas, they're talking about case studies, they're talking about different examples, and the Hodge twins cannot respond. You also hear this same Palestinian guy begin interrupting the, you know, podcast again, right? So the Amazing Lucas focuses his attention towards this guy, and this happens.
And that's what I was like, okay, this is borderline retardation. You're telling me because you get to fly, TSA doesn't impact your life. And it's like, it obviously does impact your life. What are you talking about?
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
I was just awestruck by the level of stupidity that was on display. And it came to racism, right? Because I brought up the study where it talks about, hey, there's a father in the household that, you know, there's a mother in the household. They live in an affluent neighborhood, right? They're, you know, good income. that one of the factors that will determine if the child will go to prison, okay, is the racial bias of the people around them, racial bias of the white people around them. They lose it. Oh, I don't believe you. I don't believe that. I'm like, you can look it up. What are you talking about? Then this fool starts interjecting whatever. I was like, why don't you shut the F up? Like, that's what you need to do. Shut the F up. So he says something like, blah, 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 F and N word.
What did you say?
I'm like, that's when I get up. That's when I get up. I said, what the F did you say?
There was no but. The thing is, that's where you messed up. There, you should not have gotten up and then engaged him further in conversation. If you were going to continue to engage him in conversation, you should have remained seated, sir. To act out into an almost action in order to demonstrate your displeasure with what he said is a waste of energy. You could have calmly, with this demeanor that you are possessing now, act as if you were going to walk past him to excuse yourself to the restroom and got directly with his program, homie. All that announcing that now you've done it and I want to give you that's a waste of time. More often than not, everyone else there is going to come between you all. I mean, you could just predict this from miles and miles away. So if you don't really have an intention of becoming physical, you might as well remain in your seat. And if you do have intentions on remaining physical, don't announce your intention. Simply get up and handle your business, like the old Donahue where old boy was called to Uncle Tom. He didn't get up and tell him, hey, what you ask him to say it again, dare him nothing. He got up and put his hands around the man's throat.
What the heck did you say? The Hodge twins get up. They're like, hey, why you
That's what's going to happen.
going towards him, man? Why you getting in his face? I was like, I'm not getting in his face. I'm asking him a question. I said, I'm asking him, hey, what the F do you say?
You heard what he said. Now you're having a circular conversation as if you wanted to be disrespected once more. You already are acting out based on a perceived disrespect. There is no need to invite someone to repeatedly disrespect you again. That is extremely elementary. It's like, knock it off my shoulder. That's like, come on, man. Nah, we got to get beyond that if you're standing on business, Luke.
So now I got the Hodge twins in front of me, right? The dynamic is insane. I got two black men, right, in front of me protecting a pale Arab Palestinian.
Actually was protecting you because you were about to do something that no one was going to support, not even the law. So even though he might have been protecting him from physical harm, he was protecting you from long-term harm because your mind wasn't made up. If your mind was made up, you wouldn't have been asking him what he said.
And who had just called me a hard R.
Again, he challenged.
There's nothing to talk about if you are indignant behind that.
This guy about the use of the word. Now he's using this as a direct insult towards Amazing Lucas.
Hey, don't get it confused. I'm with Lucas on this. A Google %. But even with me supporting him after the game, I'm like, ooh, we got up out of there. But hey, next time, do it like this. We should do this. We're going to review the tape. Oh, my mama. But shout out to the Amazing Lucas because the average person wouldn't even have the courage to even, you know what I'm saying, show any resistance.
Before he's saying, well, that's just how they view all of us. But now he's using it to his advantage. And again, he's shocked that the Hodge twins don't have anything to say about the behavior of this Palestinian host. And what do? They say, hey, man, relax. It's just a word. What? Now, again, this is where the conversation gets deep. And I kind of really want to stick with it here. We could talk about other stuff that happened in the podcast, but the main...
So what you need to do, catch them out in public and walk up to their wives and say, hey, you little funky little whorish bitch, cunt, slut. I bet you that little pussy butt is smelling like tut, tut, tut. Can I get a cut? And look at him and say, relax, man. It's just words.
Idea was this: the Hodge twins, who say they want to see black people do better, invite this black person. This brother flies from the Los Angeles area to Las Vegas. He pays his own money to participate on their podcast. I mean, and again, this is what you get, right? You talk about black people need to do better in business. I mean, you're inviting this person to your podcast. You know, he's spending his own money to come to your podcast. You're not trying to do anything like convenience him or anything like that. I mean, they have the money to fly this person out, but they don't want to because they want stuff for free.
But they really be giving away trucks. So how does that happen? There has to be some type of the dealership down the street is actually giving the truck away and allowing them to do it. Okay, I get it.
And sit around and talk about
was that a scam and they haven't actually given away the truck.
Dysfunctional behavior of black people in the black community when, you know, you're doing the same thing. You guys have millions of dollars. This guy has an opposition or opposing view to what you're thinking about. You guys can't even fly the guy out, put him up in a nice place, you know, and just make sure that things go in the right way. Not only that, you have a racist Palestinian man that is there interrupting the podcast, which would make the host feel uncomfortable, but yet you do not feel that that's important. And again, if that was somebody white or somebody like Jake Shields, he would have never allowed it to happen. All right. But he did allow it to happen. And then he's also telling him, hey, man, you know, chill out. It's just a word, bro. It's not that serious. Like, you don't have to really get all upset. You know, don't let these words bother you. When in fact, you know, if you call somebody the N-word, that person is trying to inflict pain up on you. That's what they're doing. And they're only doing that because they don't have a response. They don't have anything else that they can say to defeat what you're talking about. And clearly, the amazing Lucas felt that he was there defeating whatever the Hodge twins had as an opposition or opposing view. And because of that, you had this Palestinian guy who should not have been in the conversation anyway, jumping into the conversation. And the Hodge twins are defending his right to disrespect this black guest who spent his own money, flew himself out there, bought his own food, bought his own housing. And then you have this guy, because obviously you're going to monetize this video. You're going to make money off this video. You have this guy who has nothing to add to this conversation, but he's able to go ahead on and throw out these particular shots.
He's right, you know.
But then somehow the podcast seems to get back on track. And then again, they're talking and arguing. And then one of the Hodge twins says this.
Why don't you care? You should care, right? He's like, he's talking ill about black people. That's when not Keith, because Keith was on this side, Kevin. That's when Kevin comes out and says, I don't care about black people. I was like, there we go. There we go. All right. Glad you said it. I'm glad we got that on camera. He straight up said, I don't care about black people. And then he was like, and then he heard what he said. And then he was like, wait, let me clarify. Let me clarify. I don't care about any race.
So one of the guys says, I don't care about black people. They tries to.
And you know they're married to non-black women. That's a crazy statement to make. And then with that being said, they still have black children and parents.
Fix it in. Say something different like, oh, I don't care about anybody.
At least 50% of their parents are black. They may have a white parent as well, but they got a black parent too.
Let me just say this. A lot of these guys shoot themselves in the face. And I get it. That money over there with the white right is, you know, pretty easy and pretty good to get. I can just imagine because, you know, the Hodge twins are not that bright. It's not like they're innovating anything. You know, they're not bringing anything new to the market. All they do is little dusty reactions, a podcast, you know, kind of offending Jews, offending blacks. I mean, it's very rudimentary. You can tell that they have not put any intellectual framework.
I mean, niggas just let a word like rudimentary roll off their tongue. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Into what they're doing. And so now they don't want to release, you know, the video. And this is why he put up this particular post on the 20th. Hodge twins interview nearly ended in a brawl. Yes, some you know what soldiers in real life, they have a white Palestinian calling black people hard R's and they think it's funny. Still waiting for the interview to be out just to see how much they edit. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oscar Jackson back at it again. Another episode of the Celebrity Drunk Picture for all you do.
Yeah, I ain't surprised the Hodge twins been exposed once again as less than black. I'm surprised Lucas is so surprised. I would have thought he was more educated on them than that before he flew himself out to their platform in order to engage in some type of debate scenario. But shout out to the amazing Lucas. We react to his content here on occasion, and he's a sharp brother that I appreciate in this space. Oh, my mama.
Look at this shit. I told you that your camera was. No. That's why they stopped blowing the cash. That's why they stopped blowing. Baby girl, you gotta get up. Come on. Get your ass up out of there. Come on now. Come on. Come on. You can't do that. What the fuck wrong with you, bitch? Stop.
Sniper in that pussy. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.